I suppose introduction is due. My name is Trevor Blake. I own Blue Line Automotive and Blue Line Towing. Today we're in the tow truck, so we're heading out to help some folks. On the towing side, we can tow anything from a Vespa moped to a fully loaded tractor trailer. We're open 7 days a week, 24/7. We've got 2 dispatchers and 3 drivers. 2 of those drivers having their CDL ready to help out whenever needed. I wanted to talk about the tow truck here for a second. As I mentioned before in other videos, this is Kevin. Each of our trucks is named. We put a name associated with it just purely because if I told one of the guys, hey, go grab the white truck, I didn't want it to be a conversation of what white truck. Just go get Kevin or go get Felipe, Indy, Carlos, Grant. You know, we named them all. Alfred. It's just a little easier that way. I think I learned that from a old employer of mine, Jerry. He named his water truck Stubby, and that was the truck I drove. And I wanted to to carry that forward into my business. Numbers are boring. Anybody can put 12 or 6 or whatever on their side of their truck, but give them a name. I've had a few people ask, why a DTU, detachable tow unit. At the end of the day, it came down to cost, and what you're getting for that cost. I did way more research than I needed to on what options there were for DTUs, what was out there, so on and so forth. And it came down to the top 2. The top 2 was the Zach Lift DTU that they have. I believe it's a 30-ton or 25-ton, something like that. It's got the boom, it's got the outriggers, it's got the whole setup. Genesis series. And then there was the Metro 35-ton. And, against the advice I gave, or I was given, I chose the Metro. A lot of it came down to cost. The Metro unit could be had for about $100,000. The Zach Lift at the time that I was researching was about $170,000. And mind you, that's not installed. That's just, to my knowledge. Maybe I don't want to speak on Zach Lift's behalf, but I believe that was just for the unit. So, coming down to that difference, it was like the whole point of doing a DTU was cost. I could buy a relatively used truck that was in great condition, get a brand new tow unit, hopefully have limited issues with it, and be able to have a good setup. Because if you go buy a tow truck, a wrecker style tow truck that's got 400,000 miles on it, you're probably going to spend three to 400,000, depending on option size. Yeah, you could spend 700,000 if you wanted to, but that's usually the range. So I was like, well, if I can buy a truck for 50 to 60, can buy the tow unit for 100, put it all together, 160,000. I've got an operating tow truck. Of course, there's a lot of hours involved, but the idea was, what's the cheapest way to get into the heavy industry and see how it goes, see how it works. If it ends up being something that makes sense and we want to grow that side of it, great. The short answer is yes, it worked out. My initial intention with Kevin was if it can go out 2 times a month, it'll pay for itself. Anything more than 2 times a month, we can call that profit, more or less. And it worked. I mean, the first week we had it in service, it went out like 5 times its first week. And that was kind of the indicator. Yeah, this is going to work. Let's invest some money into Kevin, get it optimal. Let's put the weighted bumper on the front. Let's change some things around. It worked out, and eventually we'll get a wrecker that's, you know, the full size with the toolbox is a Miller or something like that later on down the road. But why the Metro? I got a lot of flack when I got the Metro because it's like, oh, it's a cheap Chinese company. They're not as good. They're not as strong. They break. They have problems. I don't disagree with all those statements, but I will say, for the money spent, if you're a somewhat handy guy, it's a great tow unit. And here are the reasons why. It was the only DTU style tow unit that was a 35 ton, a true 35 ton, that was, there goes Chad. Hi, Chad. That was a true 35 ton with twin line winches, outriggers, extendable boom, a great tow rating, all these things added together. Because it's like there's a lot of manufacturers for the DTU unit, and it's like, well, this guy would have a great tow rating but no boom, and then this guy would have a boom but it was only a single line, or this guy would have a boom and it wouldn't be extendable, or they would only have a single winch or whatever. Metro was the only one I could find for a decent cost. Like I said, the Zack Lift was, I think Zack Lift is a great product. Don't get me wrong. I would like to have one day. But when I compared price, I just couldn't go that direction. And now that I've had this DTU for about 6 months now, there's been a couple issues here and there. Airline fittings that had to be tightened up. A couple small hydraulic leaks that just had to tighten a nut. It looks like a lot of the issues are during the assembly process. They just don't follow through. They've got to follow through and tighten everything up, and it's been no big deal. It's been a great unit. It's got the remote control, all that good stuff. The outriggers are extremely strong. I've gone out, you know, for in the snow with this thing, pulling people out for 10 hours straight, and you know, way out in the middle of nowhere, I see two other heavy wreckers that are going back with broken winches and their wheel lifts laying on the ground, skipping down the road. I don't know what kind of units they were, not DTUs, but you know, a Miller, Jerridan, something of that nature. And the Metro keeps coming back for more. Keeps on trucking. Of course, it's my unit. I'm going to take care of it. You know, maybe a driver for another company is a little more reckless. I don't know. But I know anybody that owns a business out there knows an owner-operator is going to take better care of their equipment. That's just common sense. Nevertheless, there's our guy. So we're going to be popping over the scales here. We've got to hit the exit, go back south on I-5. Earlier I introduced myself. I guess I should say we're in Southern Oregon, Medford, White City area. I've had my CDL since I was 18, I believe it was. At that time, of course, I had to stay in the state in California with my commercial license. When you're under 21, you have to be intrastate, which is staying in that state. And then when I turned 21, I got my interstate status and was able to go over state lines. And I wanna make sure I have this conversation with you guys. I am not the know-it-all. I am a novice in both of my industries, automotive and towing. I think that if someone's a know-it-all, I think they're a fool, because there's always something to learn. There's always someone that can teach you more. So like I said, I am a novice in these industries, and the point of these videos is to share what information I do have, hopefully make it entertaining, and provide some marketing for my companies. That's my goal. If you have any questions, anything I can answer, DM me, chat me, whatever. Give me a call. I'll talk to you. Let's get to work.